Welcome back to the show. Check out these headlines. The dot-com era for crypto has begun. We're going to prove it to you. The world's largest banks using Ripple. Bitcoin $1 million buy. And US and UK equal Ripple. You're going to love this video. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $4.13 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is up 0.5%. Bitcoin 116,000 plus, Ethereum 4,500 plus. Number 3 spots XRP at $3.03, and we see the range of price very quickly here between 301 and 306. I can tell you that I'm turning a corner with this whole virus thing I've got going on. I appreciate all the well wishes and comments from everybody. It really does mean a lot to me. So thank you guys so much for that. But we're getting through it here. I could tell you there for a minute it was on me like hell won't have it. But you know what? But we're gonna move. We're gonna get through it. I can feel it. I can feel it moving away from me. So that's a good thing. And appreciate all the well wishes. Take a look at this right here. It's James Rule XRP reminding everybody, do not download email attachments. Do not click on email attachments. Do not click on links. Do not DocuSign anything. If you receive something from an exchange or a place where you hold your digital assets, the best thing to do is to not respond to that communication, but go sign in directly to your direct application of that account, right? Don't go through a link that is sent to you. Always go in from the direct source, right? From the actual site itself. So these are things to be very careful of. But then again, you know, if you just go to iTrustCapital.com/XRP Army, open up your premium custody account, you could put all of these worries to rest, right? Because they made this closed loop system. So God forbid if you did click on something that you shouldn't have, the worst thing that could happen is that your crypto gets cashed out and sent directly to your US checking account, because it's the only way to get out of this account to help protect you from such an event. This is all about removing the attack vector from your experience in the digital asset space. And that's what iTrustCapital's come together to do here. So click the link underneath the video and get started today. You're going to love the peace of mind that it brings to you. I can tell you that. Look at this right here. And speaking of the crypto market and the crypto space, Jack Mahler says Bitcoin is about to 200x from here. Take a listen.
See the price of Bitcoin heading?
Higher.
How much higher?
A lot higher. My general framework from the highest level is human beings collectively, we own about $900 trillion worth of stuff. That's equities, the things behind us, real estate, precious metals, fine art, all of the things that we own. Half of that we're using as a savings account. We're owning the portfolio of companies or the art or the house to actually try and persist wealth into the future. I think Bitcoin's going after that market. It's going after a market of $400 to $500 trillion worth, and right now it's $2.5 trillion. So I think in purchasing power terms, Bitcoin can go up 100 to 200 times more from here.
All right.
Well, there you have that. But listen, now, how about an exact number? Matt Hogan from Bitwise breaks it down what he sees here, and he's going to give you a real number by 2029.
My favorite view of the value of Bitcoin on a long-term basis is to look at the size of the market it's going after. I think Bitcoin is well on its way to disrupting gold. That's a $20 trillion market. I think it's going to be used for international transaction and cross-border transactions. That's another many trillion-dollar market. And then you can divide that by the number of Bitcoin and you end up with a target amount. At Bitwise, we think it's going to cross $1 million by 2029. I think from a shorter term perspective, you can just look at supply and demand in the market, right? The big criticism of Bitcoin is the price is set by supply and demand. But that's also a real benefit when you're in a market like today, where again, we're producing 160,000 Bitcoin a year and ETFs are buying 500,000, right? Something has to give. And I think what gives is price resistance and ultimately it goes higher.
I think he makes a fantastic point here, but let's keep moving. So Bitcoin $1 million. Well, you can't help but say to yourself, well, what would XRP be at that point, right? That would be amazing. I think we're gonna see it in short order. I mean, Matt is one of the smartest minds in this space. I could definitely see that level of adoption, especially if we get the strategic reserve for Bitcoin, which I believe we will. Let's take a listen to this clip about the .com era for crypto has begun. Shout out to Paul Barron and the gentleman he has on here. They talk about major retailers like Chipotle, Starbucks, Shake Shack, enterprise merchants have been ready since 2018. You're going to love this.
Then you have the payment structure. Then you have the XRP crowd, which also, first of all, just the size of that audience in general. I'm looking at it when we see a potential here for a major retailer like a Chipotle, a Starbucks, anyone really. I mean, Shake Shack kind of went out on the limb with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I tested it at a Shake Shack, didn't work well. Or not Shake Shack, Steak and Shake, didn't work well. We're going to get them on the show to talk about it because the process was kind of clunky. So I asked them straight up, was this was just a PR stunt, you know? And
Interesting. Yeah.
and my point is this, is if I can't solve my problem of payment with crypto, do you feel like retailers are going to try to start targeting ways to get to a certain audience just because it's a large audience that would bring them into the stores?
I think it's a great question. I think they will start to target more. Now, remember though, retailers have been in the dark for the last 8 years. They really have been waiting for some regulation. So we've worked closely with some of our retailers, some of our merchants we've been talking to since 2018. And I'm talking about enterprise grade merchants. And that's instructive. Again, much like we pick point of sale in brick and mortar stores, much like we stayed in the US, it's very similar to that. Working with merchants and their compliance departments, we want to talk to those enterprise-sized merchants. Of all the enterprise merchants today that accept digital assets, they're all doing it through Flexa because we've stuck with, well, except for one notable exception, which is Tesla. But so we're talking about a couple dozen enterprise-grade merchants who have done it through Flexa. And the reason is we've walked them step by step by step along this regulatory pathway to a point where they now have some confidence thanks to Genius, and specifically thanks to the promise of clarity coming. So they'll know the assets, for example, being spent on their network aren't securities, or they'll know which ones aren't securities. So they can have that confidence. They also have that authority now, or trust for the legislation that's coming. And that's why merchants are getting on board today. So I do believe you're right. I do believe they will start targeting the sector more. And I know for a fact this technology is here to stay for them. They've been working on it for years. They're ready for it. They want to build it. They know what the future holds. The future holds digital asset payments. They know. And I think this is to a merchant, whether they want to say it publicly or not. Credit cards and debit cards have a lifespan, and that lifespan is coming to a point where it's ending. Maybe not immediately, maybe not.
Wow. I mean, that's a hell of a statement right there. But oh, wait, there's more. Crypto black ops sites, misdirection. You're going to want every single bit of this. Listen to this clip.
There is pressure from the biggest money makers in the world.
Okay, let me answer it this way. Let me say this. Yeah, we have talked since 2018 to the biggest merchants you know.
Yeah.
Pretty much every bank. Most folks in the sector, even those that come out publicly, and I won't name names, but I think we know them. You know, Bitcoin's horrible. This technology is bad. Every one of them.
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about the industry now. I'm talking about banks.
Oh, well, there's many of those.
Yeah,
let's go with Ray Dalio. Let's go with Jamie Dimon. Yes.
I want to say this, though. Every one of those companies has had a department looking at blockchain, looking at crypto, building it out for themselves, how they're going to take advantage of it. Every one of them did. Some in black ops sites away from their primary office.
Larry Fink. Yeah.
They've been doing this the entire time. They're all ready for the launch. They know it's coming. I don't care what they say publicly. They're all building for it. They're all
so this is misdirection at its highest.
Absolutely. 100%. They all know this is done. This technology is superior and folks know it. They know it internally. And what they say publicly is maybe they're doing it for their own reasons. I could care less what those reasons are. But the bottom line is this is going to win the day. It already has won the day. It's a matter of how it scales.
So you think that switch is going to flip how fast? When would this happen? When do you feel like the tidal wave comes?
Well, I feel like the switch was flipped. People are working. They're preparing to launch. You've already heard some banks announce their own tokens. You've already heard some of them announce their own partnerships. So I don't think it's a secret that they're doing this. How quickly this comes, I think it goes back to that first conversation we just had a little bit ago about adoption, how new technologies get adoption, how quickly folks want to integrate and launch and commit to it. Not everybody's a Chipotle, right? Not everybody wants to hop in and lead in this sector. They kind of want to see how the waters work out for everybody else. But that's changing. I mean, the inbound interest is crazy right now for Flexa. Imagine that's that way for every other company participating in digital assets. It's just a really exciting time. And I don't see it, you know, again, administration changes is not going to slow this down. It just won't, as long as we have the law. And I do think you're going to see this tidal wave coming when banks get involved.
When banks get involved, huh? Well, isn't that interesting? Because Google releases AI-powered payments protocol with stablecoin support. We know the Mag 7 is going to do the same. Apple, all the other platforms, X Money's coming. And then we do know banks are coming in, right? Standard Chartered's SC Venture plans to raise $250 million for a digital asset fund focused on fintech investment, targeting launch next year. We also know this. Spain's biggest bank, Santander, a longtime Ripple partner, has launched crypto trading for retail clients. Oh, just banks offering crypto. That's all. That's all it is. You think it's just going to be one bank? Well, take a listen to this. Smoke Dog's been at it again. Look what he's done. Yes, Ripple's payment network is being used for large financial institutions, with 15 of the world's largest banks working with Ripple's global consensus ledger. You can see it here. Ripple's payment network being used by large financial institutions, with the 15 of the world's largest banks working with Ripple's global consensus ledger. There it is. There it is. Right? Here it is again for those on the struggle bus who said banks won't offer crypto services. There was some out here that said it. I can't believe they put it on the internet. It's out there forever now. Banco Santander launches crypto services for retail clients. There it is, right? And then to go further here, UK and the USA is set to announce closer cooperation on crypto regulations. Now, before we go a step further in this, I want to remind everybody who's not aware that the UK is a gigantic financial hub for the world. Let's understand that. And obviously an ally to the US. Go a little further inside of all of this, and here's what you have. The UK and US are set to announce deeper cooperation on digital assets such as cryptocurrencies. According to people familiar with the matter, bringing Britain closer to US after President Trump embraced the industry. The drive to build closer transatlantic coordination in digital assets and capital markets was discussed on Tuesday between Chancellor Rachel Reeves and U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. The People said the idea was debated at a meeting whose attendees included crypto companies Coinbase, Circle, Ripple, and banks Citi, Bank of America, and Barclays. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. Dark Defender suggests that XRP was retesting a cup breakout and could soar to $36. And to prove this, he shared a chart covering more than 10 years of XRP history. I'm not going to break it all down for you here, but he does share all of that stuff on his page. You know, we cover it all the time. He's an OG in this space. And this is something that he is still seeing on the chart. And with the fundamental news of the Legislation for Clarity Act, which I will have an update information on, there are changes being made to that over at the Senate. We need to know about what's going on. I think it looks like it may be a very positive change. So tune into the second video for that information. And then Dark Defender came out with another chart I thought was great, which really looked at like an old chart he had back from 2023, where he targeted a $23.26 trillion market cap for crypto itself as a collective market cap by 2025. He did this in 2023, made that prediction, saw it on the chart. He shared it. At that time, it was $0.81 trillion crypto market, and is now $4.17 trillion crypto market, representing a 514% increase in the total crypto market cap. So if you look at this, if we have the same increase, 23 trillion is reached with wave 3, then think about the XRP price. Get ready. He's basically saying that same increase that we've seen since 23 to today, again, would put us at that 23 trillion. And how much of that would affect and land in XRP's market cap? This is one of the ways that I really do enjoy thinking about the market, and it helps me remain calm but enthusiastic all at the same time. You know, we are in the .com era for crypto, and when the legislation passes, it's going to be a cycle to witness. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. We're going into the freedom zone, ladies and gentlemen. And today you're going to want to tune in about an alternate theory that could be taking over out here about the loss of life of Charlie Kirk. I hope you will join us inside the Freedom Zone. Click the link underneath. We are after the truth and only the truth, and we're going inside to find it. Again, not financial advice from me or anyone else. Come on in.